A young child's world is filled with natural, spontaneous discoveries. There is so much to see and hear, touch and move, taste and smell. A rich environment becomes a sensory laboratory for a child's natural curiosity. All beginning skills, language, social, motor, coordination, and thinking are engaged as children actively explore with their five senses. By acting on their environment, children construct their own knowledge through experience, imitation, manipulation, and repetition.
Did you ever wonder how we can prepare children for the future? Is it the memorization of their facts, their letters, their shapes, their numbers, or is it something larger? We really can't predict what the future is going to hold for our children. The world is changing so rapidly. When I think about that, I think about my father. As a little boy, he traveled across the country in a covered wagon. And by the time he passed away, we had landed on the moon. I often wonder, could he have, lying there next to the campfire, ever experienced the wonderment of somebody actually standing on the moon one day? These changes happened in his short lifespan, and what's going to happen in the lifespan of our children? I think the way we prepare children is with helping them to learn to think. Thinking is the key. It's that ability to think creatively and critically, to use their mind in many different ways, and to deal with whatever is in front of them. That's the key. We know through studies that flexibility of thought is the most important correlating factor in school success. That means the ability to think of things in many different ways. The Nifty system does that for children. It's perfect for children because they get an opportunity to work with open-ended materials, to problem solve, to try out ideas, and experience thinking right at hand.
Nifty system is a unique, integrated system of very inviting exploratory play materials. With chunky pieces to fit into, over, through, under, and on top of each other. Much like unit building blocks, there is an integrity to the way the pieces relate mathematically. Although it was created to be used by the youngest toddler, Nifty system has so many open-ended possibilities that it is intriguing to all ages. There are so many concepts to investigate: pegging, stringing, fitting, sorting, building, comparing, patterning, and more. Designed for the natural way in which toddlers learn, the Nifty system is fun and challenging, but definitely not frustrating. The natural materials and inviting textures say, "Please touch," and the many different but interchangeable components invite children to explore freely and to use the materials in new and imaginative ways. The extra-large sturdy pieces are also great for creative construction. Even the beads can stack. There are no rules, and young children are free to explore in their own way, naturally.
The Nifty system was developed out of the need for developmentally appropriate materials for toddlers. Often toddler teachers have had to use materials for older children and bring them down to the toddler level, which doesn't always work. Toddlers have a natural inclination to play fill and dump, to carry things from one end of the room to the other, and to mix everything up. The wonderful part about the Nifty system is that that's okay. With the Nifty materials, interchangeability is one of the key pieces of it. One piece works with another piece, which works with another piece. And in that entire time, what's very special about the Nifty materials is how it feels in a toddler's hands. Those big chunky pieces just have a perfect hand fit. And that way that they can use it with no mistake, there's no wrong way to use it, is a way to say to children, your way is the right way.
Nifty system is available in 2 developmentally appropriate kits. Phase 1 for younger toddlers beginning at age 1, and Phase 2 for children from 2 years of age. Component sets are also available separately. The open-ended nature of Phase 1 is perfect for the trial and error, repetitive learning style of the youngest toddlers, just making sense of their physical world. Toddlers crave new experiences and challenges to stimulate the curiosity that leads to continued cognitive growth. As they work with the Nifty system, they control their actions by choosing what to interact with, in what combinations, and in what ways. thus creating the opportunities they need to develop confidence and independence. Now let's look at the component parts of Nifty System Phase 1, beginning with the red object permanence bag. Young toddlers are naturally drawn to peekaboo hiding games that encourage the development of object permanence awareness, the knowledge that an object continues to exist even when it is out of sight.
Wow, do you have a full bag?
Filling and finding play with the bag promotes refinement of motor skills as well as the development of this concept of object permanence. The textural contrast between the soft, velvety exterior and the silky interior of the bag also provides pleasant sensory experiences for the very tactile young child. Young toddlers are fascinated with their growing ability to fit one object into another. Nifty System Phase 1 includes a round fitting board with 6 round columns that fit easily into 6 holes. All the pieces are chunky and easy to grasp for successful fitting activities by the youngest toddler. As fine motor skills and visual discrimination develop, a toddler is soon able to peg the square columns of the square fitting board. Early sorting experiences occur as the child, through trial and error, tries to fit the various pieces into the 2 boards and sort them by shape. The pegging columns are of 2 heights, one twice as tall as the other, for extended early sorting activities. The 2-peg board from Phase 1 is the perfect first stacking and ringing play tool. The big, well-spaced pegs, 6 large wooden rings, and 3 wide column rings are easy for the youngest child to manipulate successfully. A young toddler might stack the rings over and over in no particular order. Then, with experience, there develops the awareness that the 6 large rings and the 3 column rings can be sorted onto the pegs in 2 stacks of equal height. The more complex 3-peg board set number 1 has smaller pegs and holes for further development of fine motor skills. This 3-peg board is also conceptually more complex, with many varied relationships for children to explore, such as same, different, big, little, short, tall. Moreover, the depth of each square plaque is equal to one of the raised bands on the ribbed cylinders, providing additional sensory experience of mathematical equivalence. Toddlers at play delight in hiding the rib cylinders under the larger column rings for intriguing fitting and peekaboo play. Nifty System creates many important opportunities for hands-on experience of mathematical relationships as young children discover that a stack of 6 square plaques or 2 half-size elements is essentially the same height as the whole-size elements. The first and second shape boards from Phase 1 are excellent early fit-togethers. The chunky shapes that extend above the bases are easy for toddlers to remove and replace. The first shape board has 3 basic shapes to fit: a circle, a square, and a triangle in primary colors. For more challenging fitting, the second shape board has an octagon, a rectangle, and an oval in the secondary colors. To avoid frustration, all the pieces can be fitted into the bases in at least 2 directions. Nifty System includes big beads to fit toddler hands with satisfying feel, size, and shape. Giant beads with extra-large holes promote successful first stringing activity. The thick, tangle-free stringers are safe, age-appropriate, and easy for little hands to manipulate. When a bead stopper is placed on one end of the stringer, even the youngest toddler can string without the frustration of beads sliding off. The inclusion of pairs of same-color beads is useful for early matching and sorting activity. For a multitude of explorations, all Nifty components with holes in them can be used for stringing. The whoosh tube set, available separately, is an optional extension of the Nifty System. This discovery toy lends itself to an abundance of hands-on sensory experience with physical science concepts such as gravity and air displacement. Stand the unbreakable tube directly onto its base, and the balls drop through softly, slowed by the trapped column of air. Lift the tube so that it is not actually touching the base, and the balls fall through more quickly. Placed on its side in the arch holders, the whoosh tube becomes a simple-to-use tracking tube. Varying the placement between 1 or 2 holders provides early experience with the effects of gravity.
I teach an early childhood classroom, which is an inclusive program with special needs children and typical learners learning together. And we've been working with the Nifty system for, I guess it's been about 2 months now. We've had it in our classroom, and it's been really interesting to observe how different children interact with the system. The special needs children more so in the field of discovery and exploration, and then some of my higher level kids that are probably on a pre-readiness 4 or 5-year-old level. They actually were starting with some patterning and with discovery with the magnets, and so it really reaches all levels, the developmental levels in my classroom. I have a little fellow in my program who has cerebral palsy, and one of his goals, fine motor goals, has been to learn to string beads, and this has been a real struggle for him. The Nifty system has the larger beads, the larger holes, and also the tubing that comes with it has enabled him to be able to actually have some success in stringing and using his bilateral hand movements, and which we really enjoy to see that with him, and he's enjoyed the success there too. The whoosh tube with the balls, and that all the children just love that. I mean, but to see the balls, you know, go in. But then I do have a child who's Down syndrome in my program, and he's probably a 2-year developmental level, if not lower. But this is something that he will spend a lot of time. That's one of our goals, is to work on his attention span. There's his time on task, and this activity he will spend and actually be productive in this, putting the balls in the tubes and you know, have some productive play going on.
Phase 2 of the Nifty system has many new elements that can be used independently as well as with the components of Phase 1. Phase 2 is designed for older toddlers, beginning at age 2. It has smaller parts, a larger variety of components, and more sophisticated concepts for children to explore. Nifty System Phase 2 includes the 3-peg board set number 2, as well as the 3-peg board set number 1. Combining these 2 sets greatly expands opportunity for mathematical comparison and hands-on counting experience. Small wooden rings nest inside large wooden rings for easy-to-grasp size comparison. There are opportunities to experience half-whole and other proportional relationships. Children who are aware of the attributes of objects may begin to use Nifty components in new ways. Simple sorting, for instance.
That looked like a hula hoop.
The first balance from Phase 2 is an early math and science manipulative. Although basic in concept, this simple wooden balance is sophisticated in design, carefully calibrated to balance when empty. The seesaw motion of the balance and the cause-effect relationship between the motion and the addition and removal of beads and rings are tangible sensory experiences involving concepts of balance and equivalency. As a child explores, he discovers firsthand the properties that balance and unbalance the base. The first balance also provides older children opportunities for estimation and prediction. All Nifty components with holes can be placed on the balance for further experimentation. Phase 2 also includes a more varied collection of colored and natural beads and other wooden pieces of different shape, size, and texture, as well as stringers in 2 different lengths. All of these variables contribute to a stringing system which makes possible a world of experiences with measuring, sorting, matching, patterning, and creative construction. For a multitude of explorations, all Nifty components with holes can be used for stringing.
Put it on there?
I did.
Put it on there. Very good. Can you find
Older children who have internalized the concept of object permanence can use the textured blue bag from Phase 2 for a variety of activities, from matching games to memory games, or they can use it as a feely bag.
Give me 5. Very good. Awesome job. All right.
Magnetism is a fascinating concept for young children. The weight of the metal rings, the sound as they clank together, and the magical feel of magnetic pull are all wonderful sensory experiences. The first magnet set, available separately, is an optional extension of the Nifty system. The big, bright, chunky magnet and the large metal rings in 2 sizes are safe and easy for toddlers to use. The correlation of the sizes of the metal rings and the wooden rings invites interesting comparisons.
We all know the old adage, play is child's work, and there's no better way to demonstrate it than with the Nifty system because it's fun. You can watch children exploring the materials. There's a delight in their eyes. There's that sound of the aha experience when they discover something, and that exquisite joy of knowing that they can develop their own learning in their own way.
Individual Nifty components are all designed to be fun and educational, but it is when the pieces are intermixed that the real, creative, inventive, independent learning begins to occur. So many opportunities are presented for child-initiated activities, exploration, and discovery.